Peace and blessings, y'all. What's going on? This is your boy Gerald, and it is Monday, March the 14th, 2016. How is each and every one of y'all doing? So, are you feeling it? You feel that energy that's going on? You feel that cycle that's becoming more and more hard not to look at? You start to see the effects of how it has on your associations, your connections, and those who desire to have access to your life. Do you see the commonality in that? It's not by chance. No, there's no such thing as fate. It just happened. No. How many examples do you have to see that God has something greater for your life? He has something blessed for you to do. So I know some of us are starting to feel change that is found within ourselves, that is influenced by our environments, and as well as the things that are not. Have you noticed what's not apparent now? What's not actively in your life now that was broken from you? Things that you never had control of, but the illusion was placed there to think that you did. I know I'm talking to someone. What if I told you you could change all that? Would you do it? You actually think that you are supposed to be the one that is going to sleep and waking up the same way in tears. Though that you hold on to that mask that you wear going outside your door, it doesn't serve you anymore. You know why it doesn't serve you anymore? Because it was never meant to be there to begin with. So what you're witnessing is divine influence. So you gotta understand something, y'all. God never needed your permission, nor asked for your input. No, he didn't. So some of y'all may be going through some things that are not, it's not comfortable. Some of y'all may have had some situations where you have literally been shook, either physically, financially, or emotionally, and you are at your wit's end. You're not at your wit's end. What's being required is for you to go within. What's being required is for you to see what rightfully did not deserve access to you. No, this is not a position of arrogance. This is a position of clarity. Not everybody is supposed to know your story. Not everybody should earn the right to hear you breathe. So what's going on right now? God is in the sifting room. Yes, he is. And he's shaking your life up. And all the things that have held you back, all the things that kept you in flux, all the things that kept you in the denial because it was based off of fear. You know fear. Finally, everything's a reality. It's being brought to the surface. I mentioned this to some of y'all some time ago. I personally believe spiritually, this is a harvest scene. This is a harvest season for things that were done back in 2008. So let's go back, shall we? We are talking 8 years ago. Where were you 8 years ago, and what was apparent? What was the theme that had you focused on? Who was there compared to who is not now? See, only you know those stories. Only you know those situations. But what you can't ignore is your truth. So, with 8 years' time, should be 8 years of progression, 8 years wisdom, and 8 years of understanding and loving you. If you feel that your life has been delayed, if you feel that your life has been stuck, if you feel your life has been stolen, let me tell you something. The devil is a liar. And demons are real, y'all. Don't get caught up on what you see on TV, but be very aware of what you take in. The number one platform that demons use is media. So what's required is you take accountability of the content that is being presented for your consumption and scrutinize it. Because trust and believe when I tell you this, there are people that, unfortunately, I hate to admit, they pray for your destruction. They get off on your unhappiness. They celebrate when you are not together. Because see, they know that they can benefit when you're not grounded. And we all know that's not the truth. You may be someone that felt that, well, Gerald, I don't have a voice. And the only time that I feel like I'm being heard, I must turn the octave up and act out of character. Well, to speak your truth, you must be authentic. But to be authentic, you must be transparent to God. Now, which is contradictory because the irony is both the devil and God already know your legacy. They already know what you're going to do. So therefore, there is a spiritual battle for your life. Does it surprise you that certain doors open up and certain doors are closed? But if love, compassion, kindness is not on either side of those doors, why are you walking on that path? If you are affiliating with people that do not spawn your growth, inspire your direction, but more importantly, if they don't have a relationship with God, guess what? They'll never have a relationship with you because they have yet to invest in themselves. So if they're not investing in themselves, how can they invest in you? I know I'm talking to someone. Don't get caught up on the messenger, get caught up on the message. I know. You're saying, Gerald, what happened to that man with them locks went down his back, with that face full of hair? Where is he? Where did he go? Just as the winds blow north, south, and east and west, it is nothing but a season. The spirit that is in that man is me. All you saw was just think of a nut as an onion. These are they're just layers. I still very much love God. I still very much am grounded. I'm still very much going to speak my truth. So if this video right here has you stop just for a second to reflect in yourself, then it's done its job. I told y'all from day one, October, was it October? I can't even remember, but my very first video I put out was, when was the last time you told yourself you loved you? I made a conscious decision right then and there that what was broken would be fixed. What did not serve me, I was going to purge it out of my life. But more importantly, what I was going to do was cement placing God first in everything I do. You see, family, let me tell you something. Just as you have people that will be revealed in your life in the intended time, there are also people that are going to be in your life to see if you have gained the knowledge of yourself. They are going to be the metrics that is going to undoubtedly let you know that you have mastered that situation or embraced another perspective of the makings of you. I know I'm talking to someone. You think that you're on this planet by yourself, but you got a whole lot of family. And it's like as if you don't even know them. But just know this. If they don't know God, once again, they'll never know the real you because they can't see you. But trust when I tell you this, the end all be all will be guided and directed and instructed by him. Don't get it twisted. Give me 1 second. You heard that little noise in the background? That was Tyson. He was on the patio. I gotta let him in, put him in the kennel. Give me about 25 seconds, okay? Be right back. Okay, you know you gotta go and get back. You gotta go in the kennel. All right, go in there. Nope. Go in the kennel. Let's go. Yeah. So thank you for your patience. All right, I got him situated. So it's been a minute since you guys have seen my face. It's not that I didn't want to be on the camera. It's just this whole streaming thing, I'm still learning and I'm not putting the ample time needed. But I know this video is going to be clarity for somebody. And I believe that's why. This is right now is the video, the first time I went in there and everything's working. So I hope it serves you well. But does it surprise you now, y'all? Think about what's going on in your environment. Look at how the weather is. What's going on with our weather? Flooding everywhere, people being displaced, civil unrest in political arenas. What's going on? Does it not strike you? Or have we gotten so conditioned that anytime something is put out there in mass consumption, we just turn a blind eye? I highly recommend that you scrutinize everything you see, every story that you hear. Because guess what? There is someone behind the scenes that has to put it together. So if they're putting this stuff together, well, guess what? They gotta have an agenda to convey the story. So scrutinize everything you see. Don't take everything for face value. You might not realize it. It may be old footage from somewhere else, only to sway your perception. And I believe that's what's going on right now, y'all. You've got a lot of people out here that got a lot of investments on how this political race is going to play out. But I say this to each and everybody. What does your spirit tell you? If you have that inkling in your heart, that's your discernment. Don't run from it. Embrace it, because it's trying to guide you or protect you from something that is in your midst. See, the devil's a liar, y'all. You know he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is. He wants nothing more to wreck your life. That's why you got to take stock in your relationships. I know that some of y'all have had some hard times, haven't you? Seems like every time you turn around, you got another episode of drama you got to deal with, right? Nah, that's a lie. That's an illusion. But guess what? If it ain't blessed, it can't grow. So if it can't grow, it's stagnant. So once again, why are you allowing yourself to walk amongst the dead? Maybe that perception is dead. Maybe the way you look at life is dead thought. Because we are what we attract, y'all. You do understand that. The way your mind and heart is what your reality is made of. So maybe it's time that you start forgiving yourself. When are you going to stop living in purgatory? Huh? When are you going to stop beating yourself up because of their behavior? You done flip-flopped every point of view to try to find the logical solution, but guess what? It still don't have nothing to do with their behavior and outcome. You know why? Because that's free will. Remember that? The two greatest gifts, two most beloved gifts God ever gave you was the ability to love yourself. And the second one was free will, the right to choose. Shall I go left? Shall I go right? Shall I go up? Shall I go down? It's your choice. So with that, don't you think there's a reality that shouldn't there be a responsibility? That's power. That's your power. But really, that's your worth we're talking. That's your respect that's being weighed. I know I'm talking to someone. I know how many times you're going to keep crying to that person about they don't understand me. They don't respect me. But you do nothing about it. You over there crying. Your health is taking a beating. You may be dealing with the residual effects of a beating, but you don't do nothing about it. I know I'm talking to somebody. Real men don't do crap like that, nor women. But once again, if you don't have a relationship with God first, you'll never have a relationship with them. I know I'm talking to someone. You said, "Well, Gerald, I'm in my 20s and I'm all about experimentation and I'm just trying to understand me and pretty much weigh my pros and cons, the things I like and don't like, but what expense? Your immune system? He's been beating your mind up to turn you out. He has his little tricks, and you know every time he does that, you become vulnerable. But then the next day you feel like crap. When you gonna get off that merry-go-round of denial? But see, that's the world we live in, where the things that should be questioned are condoned. All they do is change the packaging, because what they want you to do is sell your soul. And the things that should be uplifted and honored are mocked. I got a question for y'all. You don't think the devil's real? You don't think he is? Watch this. At your leisure, I want you to go to your search engine. I don't care who it is, and put in, it has a little mic on the side, and just put this in. How many Luciferian churches are in your area? And watch what comes up. You might not even realize it. You might be living next door to a person that prays to the devil. You may be breaking bread with someone that is cursing you. You may be in the midst of someone that is plotting your demise. You're grown, right? You say you're grown, so you want to do grown stuff. But yet, in silence, your heart is filled with a lot of regret now, ain't it? You say to yourself, if I knew what I knew now, then I would have chosen another path, Gerald. Well, let me tell you something. When the awakening occurs, and it will, you will be made new. But it can only happen when you're able to be comfortable in your own skin. I know somebody need to hear that. You're saying, Gerald, I gotta look the part, talk the part. I gotta act a certain way, when actually all you were required was to be yourself. Because guess what? No one can be you but you. I've even heard people say this. Well, Gerald, well, if men didn't act the way they did, women wouldn't respond the way they are. Ain't nobody make you do what you don't want to do. You got to stop lying to yourself. A square is a square. And you ain't going to put a square in a circle. Maybe that's the circle you ain't supposed to be in to begin with. Maybe that circle that has graciously brought you in named you the scapegoat. And the amusement was going to be on your disappointment. I know I'm talking to someone. My family, let me convey this to each and every one of you. See, the one thing that we don't have as human beings is the ability to see ourselves in natural state. What I mean, as real time. We don't have the ability to see that. We need devices to record so we can get the playback. Otherwise, you could say 50% of the choices made would be changed. But as the residual effects of those actions we have chosen is what we feel. So you think today is the day that You're going to just throw in the towel? I know I'm talking to somebody. You've been battling depression for so long, and you basing it on all these disappointments. And you're saying, what's the point on being on this earth? That's martyrdom. That's victimhood. And that's what the devil wants you to believe. But little do you know, behind that fear, finally everything's a reality. The reality is, that's not where you needed to be to begin with. You will finally see the remnants of your true life. Life, living in favor every day. That's you. The most beautiful person you will ever come in contact in your life is the person looking back at that mirror. I know I'm talking to someone. So why do you think you gotta imitate someone else's life? Why do you think you have to take on a persona that ain't yours? Why do you think you have to do things that only tear you down? There's no love in that. There's no honor in that, nor respect. But I also know this too. Everybody has a breaking point. And it depends on what you're willing to allow to be destroyed. There might be somebody right now, you're saying, well, Gerald, I have willfully done things because I was a selfish person. I have willfully destroyed relationships that were fruitful. I have burned bridges because it was more convenient to take the shortcut. But we all know taking shortcuts cuts your life short. And you're on the other side now saying, well, you know what? If I knew what I know now, then I would totally change my life. And I know, and I get it, because some of y'all said, well, what about those good times? What about those things that I've seen? Those experiences I've shared? Okay. Was those experiences worth those tears? How about those bruises? How about your money? Because see, that's what the devil does. See, you'll never be able to outthink the devil. You won't. But you are coveted under God's love the moment you are real with yourself and form a relationship with him. It is not his responsibility to seek you out. He created you. So does it surprise you that the trials and tribulations that you're going through right now is occurring because you have convinced yourself to think like man and build a life without God's presence? Anything made with man's hands come with an expiration date. Don't y'all see that? It's not meant forever, but your spirit is. I know some of y'all right now, you're saying, Joe, I just want the pain to go away. I got this dark cloud over me. I can't seem to get ahead. Every time I take a step forward, I get knocked back 10 steps back. The devil is a liar. He wants you to believe that. That ain't nothing but a spiritual shackle on your life. You might be feeling like the relationship you in right now, the other partner proverbially has a leash around your neck and they are dictating. Well, just know this. Once again, if God is not in that relationship, that relationship's not blessed, and that is a soul tie. So that's formed off of lust. That is a cheap imitation of what you rightfully deserve in your life. Because you got to understand something, y'all. The man or woman that is going to be in your life will be a spiritual person. They will possess the keys to the other side of your life. But guess what? They will also have knowingly the responsibility of holding your heart. They know what's at stake. They know what you need, and they're willing to do the part. This person will be your best friend. It will pain them to deceive someone as yourself. But if you are choosing to live a lie, wait, you know I love you. You want to get your money up? You want to get your money up? You know what I'm about to tell you, right? It's time for you to go back to that little girl. See that little girl that's inside you? She is so beautiful. She doesn't need accessories. God has already given that. Yeah, she don't need the mask because her allure, her aura is innocent. Does it surprise you why you hear the voices at night? Or do you one better? Having a hard time sleeping, ain't you? I know I'm talking to somebody. You're afraid to go to sleep because you've been having dreams that have been too close to home. I'm a firm believer of this, y'all. Even when we do our worst, God still will show favor in the intended time to bring caution. He does. He doesn't have to, but he loves you so much. He wants you to be fully aware before you proceed. The question is, will you listen? Now here's another one. For those who like burning bridges, for those who like to take shortcuts, you do understand ultimately those things choose to give temporary satisfaction. This is no different than a person walking in a park with a bag of bird seed. That person can walk in that park with that bag of bird seed by themselves and sit down and sprinkle those seeds out. It's just a matter of time. He's going to control the flock. Everything is going to come there for that source. So let's look at your life. If the flock that you are yielding food to is only because of what you're doing or what they get from you and not for your development, don't you think you need to take stock on what's going on? More and more now, y'all, we are having a lot of afflictions. I believe spiritual afflictions going on in the world, and people are systematically suffering from mental illness. Now more than ever, narcissistic personality disorder is prevalent. But that's nothing but an umbrella term because, see, that's how demons do. I know I'm talking to somebody. They have the ability to tap into a host to do their bidding for the devil. That's why you're hearing those things that feel like it's cutting, trying to break you down, trying to manipulate, trying to control you. That's a demonic presence. Because, see, the end goal is to destroy your life. That's what the devil wants. He's already told God, look, that creation, oh yeah, I got her. On him, nah, he'll never make it. I got him too. And the spiritual war between the angels have been going on far before this world was even created. But if you listen to those folks that are New Agers, they don't talk about God now, do they? They like to use wordplay and use the term God consciousness. Let me tell you something. Oh, source. But see, that's how non-believers do. That's how they get down. They'll never give credit with where credit is due, because he's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. One day you're going to take your last breath, and that hash mark that's going to be found on your headstone is going to represent your legacy. But more importantly, what about those seeds? Yeah, those seeds. Because the reason why we're here on this planet is to each one teach one. What about them babies that are going to walk on the path that you blazed? Hmm? I know I'm talking to somebody. You saying you see crystal clear. You see your family lineage, and ain't nobody doing nothing with their lives, and you're terrified. You've even convinced yourself, I don't want to have any kids, because if I have any kids, I'm going to end up like my mother. I'm going to end up like my brother. Just a bunch of people lost, and you're terrified. No, don't be terrified. You're the exception to the rule. I think you know that. You are going to be the influence that will motivate the direction and the growth of your family name. So it's time. What you're feeling is change, y'all. And I must warn each and every one of you this. I ain't got to explain, because you already know. People day to day are just blindlessly being led. You're not waking up for nothing. You have a responsibility to yourself. So yes, you're going to see that there are people that are in your midst that never deserve to hear you breathe. But it doesn't give you a pass, y'all, to be malicious, negative, toxic. What's required is you ground your feet and heal those wounds. I know I'm talking to somebody. You got some wounds that are so deep. And the way that you coexist, my mouth's not working. The way that you navigate your life, you say, well, you know what? If I take this one more drink, I can be numb and I can function. Or you may say, well, you know what? We're not going to live forever anyway, so you're not responsible with your finances. Or worse, you let a stranger that don't even know your last name have the greatest gift ever, and that's your body. See, at one time, y'all, we used to worry about STDs. And there used to be a lot of commercial influence about STDs. But you never heard anyone talk about the transmission of spirits. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Your homeboy got with this girl, and her influence was so strong that he walks like her, talks like her, mannerisms like her. She has been able to change everything about him when it comes to his identity. The same goes with women. She does everything that he does. And you say to yourself, that's not the friend. I know. I don't know who that is until the storm comes. You see, sometimes, y'all, the devil will bring things into your life disguised in a pretty package, waiting for curiosity to get the best of you, only to take a big piece from you. See, the attack is your heart. That's what he wants. He wants to beat that heart up. He wants to wreck your mind. He wants to convince you that you don't need love. As long as you got all the money in the world, that's all you need. He wants you to lose faith that your mate will come. No, I'm not talking about no Walt Disney, my prince will. No, I'm talking about that spiritual man or that spiritual woman. Because everything is not what it seems. But you got to be able to have the courage to see it. No different than your traumas. You realize how many people are walking around with PTSD? Yes, I know that's a military term, but guess what? We live in a society where the family structure is fragmented and is deemed normal. No, it's not. No, it's not. You got women and men that use their kids as weapons to control the other. But also know this, for every choice, for every action, there's an accountability that comes back. That's why words have power, y'all. That's why you hear people say, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. What they're telling you is what comes from your mouth, you speak existence to. So you're manifesting this. So does it surprise you when you tell your little girlfriends, oh, I just want a man. I just want a thug. And voila, the devil says, here you go. And it's all fun and new and exciting until that first blow comes or that first deception is discovered. Or worse, the abuse of a cycle is birthed. It's time for you to break that cycle off the way you think and go inside that heart. Because until you decide to love you, you ain't living. That's what Walking Dead is really about. It's not about the apocalypse. No, it's about mankind being divided from the Holy Spirit. Queens, why do you think you have an abundance of men at your door doing this? Have you figured it out yet? They're there to destroy you, one action at a time. That's why you're feeling the residual aftertaste, the 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 perpetual bitterness of the disappointment. You're saying, now, if I knew this guy would do this, I would never. But you never said this, though. God, if a man's gonna come into my life, let him be led by you. Let him be spiritually grounded. Women don't talk like that. The typical woman, little girls, I'm sorry, don't talk that because you live for today, not tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you, you're starting to see, it ain't no secret, y'all. We're in end times. You already know that. And people are dying left and right. But some don't even realize they're already dead because they've turned their back on God How are you going to go forward in your life if you don't have God leading you through? Without God, he can't protect you even from yourself. But if you let the devil in that driver's seat, he going to show you everything that you want. Everything. But you got to pay for it. You got to pay for it. Why do you think they're showing so much satanic type programming on TV? That's why, exactly, when you hear this TV program is to program how you think. Just like our education center, our education system. The lessons are programming the way you think, the way you perceive life. So right now society wants the woman to have a fat old ass, some big old titties. Excuse my French, I gotta reach those who can't be reached. And you think that's all that's gonna be needed. Okay. Put this in mind. If that's all that was needed, you wouldn't need gyms. You don't never hear nobody say, well, if you want to have the body that you need, how about you invest in it? How about you change the way you eat? How about you get that sleep? How about you drink your water? How about you use natural vitamins to replenish? Because what's in the Bible? Your body is a temple. So if you're not properly investing in it, how can the foundation stand? But if you keep listening to man will keep you standing on that pole. He'll keep having you walk in that fashion. What's the fashion? Why is the fashion today that women embrace the same as what's found on that streetwalker? You don't hear men running out there saying, "Oh, I want to marry her." Does it occur? Yes. But logically, no. You've also heard this. I'm not going to bring somebody to my mom that my mom will not approve of. But what do? They water you down. They say, dress down. The mask is coming off, y'all. So what if I told you your life mattered? Would you believe me? I hope you do. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. If you're not embracing change, you're getting left behind. But if God is not in front of you, you're not living. Love to hear from you. Be blessed.